Hello and welcome to Hot Money on Bloomberg Quint Live, India's first digital live streaming business news service. This is a show which gets you a complete wrap of all the stocks that are buzzing in trade. I'm Darshan Mehta. Let's welcome our experts then. Amit Shah of Indiabulls Ventures, technical analyst NS Fidai, and Dyaneshwar Padwal of KIFS Securities join me on the show right now. Before we start with the show, first round, let's go across to Yash Upadhyay, who has a chart on Infosys. Good afternoon, Yash. What's the chart indicating?
Good afternoon, Darshan. So I have a sell call coming on Infosys, and the indicator that we're using is the MACD indicator. But before I go about explaining the indicator, just wanted to highlight the chart. The stock has moved up from the levels of about 640 all the way up to 750, and that is the second time that is the highest that it has reached. The last time it touched these levels was back in the month of September. It had gone up all the way up to 750, and yet again it is facing stiff resistance at that mark. And what we are seeing from the last 4 or 5 trading sessions is that it has been slowly coming off, and the MACD line, which is the blue line over here, that has crossed below the signal line to give a negative crossover. And possibly from these current levels, what we could see is that the stock may fall, because another key notable is the fact that the higher top wick indicates that at higher levels the stock is seeing some bit of selling, so weakness as far as Infosys is concerned.
Okay, Yash, if you do a back calculation of every time this indicator has changed, what's the average return?
So the last time the MACD gave a negative crossover, it happened somewhere around the mid of December. We saw the stock fall from the levels of 700 to as low as 650. Yet again, the indicator suggests that 10 out of the 13 times that this has happened, one could watch out for returns on the downside of close to 4.5% over the next 10 trading sessions.
Okay, so that's sizable returns that are coming in on Infosys. Thanks so much for that, Yash. NS 725 is where Infosys is. Would you short at this level, or do you have a different strategy?
Well, I wouldn't go shorting, but I would agree with Yash for the reason that the maximum target that you can see is around 710 or 700. That's very nominal. So I wouldn't want to go short. Rather, I would prefer to go long on dips.
Okay.
In this case, because there is lots of technical support, like there is 18 DEMA, there is trend line support, so I doubt it will fall too much.
Amit, what's your view on Infosys?
Yeah, so below 740, yes, I think it is probably likely to test its gap area of about 690 to 700 kind of a zone. So more or less on what the same lines. I would also wait for the dips to buy the stock. Though there's a technical correction, but the trend, I would like to go with the trend. So I would rather buy on dips.
Okay, buy on dips. Dyaneshwar, what's your view?
Yeah, Darshan, if you look at the overall chart structure, so recently vertical wave formation towards the northern trajectory, it's really surprised the market, and stock is just 5% away from the uncharted territory. And recently the intermediate trend line placed near about 720, 715 range, and stock is taking support of that intermediate trend line support. If stock is managed to take out the 715 level, then only we can go short on this counter, but downside is very limited up to 700. So buy on dips would be a great strategy.
Okay, so that's the view that's coming in on Infosys. Don't short at this level is what our experts are indicating, but more of a buy on dip strategy is something that's been spoken about. Let's start with the first stock, and the first stock is by NS Fidai. He's betting on Colgate for the next 2-3 trading session. Let's go across to him. The counter, let's say it's up almost 21 rupees. It's managed to move up. What's the view what's the view?
Well, if you see this, it has taken strong support on this trend line, and on the trend line also there is a beautiful candlestick pattern, that is doji it has made after the fall. And today, before we can you can see it has almost achieved first target. This was the first target that we could see.
Okay.
And the second target would be around 1310, 1320.
Okay.
So, we have very limited upside now. But if it comes down to again test this area, because markets are quite volatile, you can expect all that kind of possibilities. So if it comes somewhere around 1270, 80, you can go long here.
Okay.
And, means you can keep a stop loss around 1244 below this low. So that would, and keep a bit, margin of safety, because there is probability that stock could be volatile when it comes and dips on this area. So it could do a double bottom here and then again jump up to 1300 plus.
Okay, what's your long-term target for Colgate? Because it's already moved up, but if someone was to buy for a positional trade, what kind of levels?
I would be preferring to buy it once it crosses above this, larger candle. That is around 1330-ish.
Okay.
And above 1350, there could be strong momentum play. This stock could go even all the way up to 1500.
Okay, 1500. So it's a positive view that's coming in on Colgate. Thank you so much for that, NS. Amit, would you buy Colgate at this level? It's 1285.
Yes, it's in a very strong trend, but I would still wait to buy it a little lower. Maybe chances are that in the near term there is some loss of momentum, so we can see some technical bit of correction, maybe towards levels of 1230, 1235. So I would still be a buyer, but I would look to buy on dips.
Buy on dips. Okay, that's the strategy that's coming in. That's what even NS said. Dyaneshwar, what's your view?
Yeah, if you look at the overall sector, so we have seen that the consumption, or I could say the FMCG sector trading in a leading quadrant as per the relative rotation graph. So it indicates the strong momentum as well as a strong relative strength. Yes, recent chart structure suggests that the stock is moving in a clear uptrend. Taken an intermediate trend line supports, very well placed doji formation, trend reversal. Current market price would be a great buying entry. Keep a stop loss of 1265 for an initial leg of move towards 1320.
Okay, so that's the view that's coming in. And before we move, NS, if you can help our audience understand, you said a word called doji, which he also repeated. If you can just explain what it means.
Doji is basically formed when markets are bit you can say in doubt. So the stock has closed at where it opened.
Okay.
And if you see the longer the legs on either side, if the leg is longer on the lower side, that means there was a huge pullback. And if the leg is longer on the higher side, it would be like, there is a lot of selling over there.
Okay.
So dojis should be read in this fashion.
Okay, so that's the view that's coming in on Colgate. More of a buy on dip kind of strategy that's coming in. Let's move on to the second stock. And Amit has a call on Pfizer. We don't get Pfizer too often, but let's... it's been on a massive consolidation phase, but what's the indicator that you've used and why are you bullish?
Correct. So if we see, I don't normally rely too much on indicators. It's more of a price pattern. But here also, as we are seeing in this phase of consolidation, the RSI is actually relatively moving higher. So which it tells that previous to its recent past, the stock is gaining strength. Now, as we speak, the stock is actually trying to move above its consolidation range, which is about 29. It is.
It's at 2980.
Yes, 2980, correct. So 2980 is the area where it's been facing some sort of profit booking, and it's staying in the range. It's trying to move above that, but we anyway have a buy on dips approach for the stock. This basically the pharma index. I mean the pharma sector has a lot of mixed bags. Some stocks are very few stocks are making life highs. Some are actually making 52-week lows, and some are sideways. So it's a very mixed bag kind of a picture for the pharma index. This one has been outperforming. It had made an all-time high. Since then, it has corrected a bit, and now it's in a sideways range. If you see 200 EMA also has been held almost 3 times. It's a tight consolidation. Again, now stock is trying to move above the consolidation range. So my sense is it's gaining the traction now, and shortly we should see the targets of about 3200 that we have on the upside.
3200. Is there a stop loss that one should keep?
Sure.
Mostly you said it's a buy on dip.
Buy on dips,
but
correct.
there should be some stop loss that if that's.
So we have a stop loss of 2740 on this.
Okay.
And we recommend buying it on dips basically for targets of 3250 on the upside.
Okay. Just 2 quick questions. What makes you think that this time around this resistance level will be broken? And this RSI that you spoke out, this is in relation to what? How is this? How do you get this number? How are you reading?
So basically, RSI, what it compares is it compares the stock recent past to the current times basically. So RSI moving higher is in a way an indicator that compared to its previous past, the stock is gaining strength and gaining momentum. So of course, as we see the stock going up further, we'll see the RSI also moving up further. But all these, the broader trend, making life highs, then correcting, continuously, staying and taking support at its 200 EMA. All these are factors which shows that bulls are in control basically.
Okay, so that's a positive view that's coming on Pfizer. Thank you so much for that, Amit. Dyaneshwar, what did you do on a Pfizer? Would you buy?
Yeah, I agree with Amit because recently on a lower time frame charts, stock is moving in a clear uptrend and marching towards the northern trajectory. But I would play for a very short term by keeping a stop loss of 2940 and for an initial leg of up move towards the 3080.
Okay, Fidai, what are you reading into this?
Well, I absolutely agree. Today was a follow-up move also we saw in this counter. and it has run almost like 3,000 rupees. It needs to cross 3,010.20 to actually gain momentum. It can head all the way to 3,300 and 3,450 also in extreme short term. There is quite a bit volumes there. The stock has, as he is rightly pointed out, has taken strong support on 200 DEM after making that lifetime high. And even moving averages, like 3 moving averages which I use proprietarily, are converging. So that it shows that there is a breakout over there. And I would go long and keep a stop loss right now because the stock has moved up. I would keep my stop loss just below 2770.
Okay, so it's a consensus buy call that's coming in on Pfizer. Let's move on to the third stock, and that is by Dyaneshwar, who has a sell call this time around on Ajanta Pharma. Let's pull up the stock if you can sell it. And remember, the results are there today, so ahead of the numbers, there seems to be heavy selling. The counter was down 3% or 3.5% in trade yesterday, but yes. Why are you seeing negativity?
Yeah, Darshan, if you look at the overall chart structure, so stock is moving in a lower top, lower bottom formation. After making an bottom, stock is unfolded into the corrective pattern, taken some pullback, and again it is marching towards the southern trajectory. And recently we have seen that the recent formation would be captured into the rising wedge, and stock is likely taking the support of rising wedge. But ultimately, if you can look at the RSI, can you just zoom out the RSI?
Yeah, they will.
Yeah, if you look at the overall chart structure of RSI, so RSI is also unfolded into the rising wedge pattern, and recently RSI has given a breakdown which eventually add the weakness into the RSI, and it is marching towards the southern trajectory. It will add impact to the price. Can you just zoom out the price? So it will add impact to the price, and we probably see the breakdown of the rising wedge channel.
Is the breakdown already happened, or it will?
No,
happen?
it is not happen. It will happen.
So would you suggest shorting at this level or wait for a breakdown level?
See, aggressive traders can go right now, and those who wanted to take a positional bet, so they can wait for a breakdown to close the stocks below the rising wedge channel.
Okay, so what's your target and what's the stop loss?
Yeah, my target would be at 950, and traders can keep a stop loss of 1150.
Okay, 950 to 1150. Thank you so much for that, Dyaneshwar. Ines, what's your view on Ajanta? Would you short at this level?
Seriously, I wouldn't short. Rather, I would prefer to buy on dips right now for a pullback. Probably if it comes to 102522, that would be the good zone to buy, and keep a stop loss at 10110 probably. And you can expect the stock to jump up almost 1130-ish.
Okay.
So at that level, if you go short, then probably you can.
So at nothing at this level?
Right now, nothing.
Okay, what about you, Amit?
Yeah, I would wait for a little bit of pullback to happen towards 1130, 1135 zone to actually take a short call.
Okay.
This, in the near term, the stock has given a sort of a breakdown, which indicates a target of about 1030. So, but I would still wait for a pullback towards 1130. Keep a stop of about 1145. I'll play only for a small stop for this one, but wait for a pullback to short sell.
Okay, so that's the view that's coming in on Ajanta Pharma. Two of Dyaneshwar is recommending a short, but the other two guests are not agreeing at that level. Amit is saying wait for a bounce to short, while Ines is saying that at lower level, he won't do anything right now, but at a lower level, he would buy this counter. So let's start the second round now. The first is a sell recommendation on Sterlite Tech. Ines, one of the big outperformers of late and has actually crashed significantly. What's the indicator and why are you recommending
this? This exact low levels here, you see here, okay, and then another one low level. This is exactly at the same level, and the stock has breached that.
Okay.
Today it has given though a little bit of bounce back, and that is expected because after such a big 3 days of sell-off, a small pullback is expected, and I would be looking at going short on this counter. But other than that, there is a lots of resistance. Like if you can put a trend line from here, and if it goes all the way, this is beautifully supported for a very long time. Actually, I had given a long call on this, if I remember, a few weeks back. So now that has been broken. The stop loss has been broken. The stock has gone all the way down. Now, what I believe is you can sell on rise. Okay. And can we have another chart? We have another one that is beautiful. Okay. Now, if you see this, it is making an inverted flag.
Okay.
And it has given a breakdown from that flag.
Okay.
The pole size is suggesting something like target of around 208.
Okay.
So that's quite a lot of money to be made here, and you can go short on pullback up to around 261 and 275. So today I think it has almost come around 260ish. So one can take one lot of go short one lot here at 260ish, another at 275 if it comes to that pullback, and keep a stop loss at 286.
Okay, so it's
So risk reward is awesome, and what we have taken is this flag pattern. So the pole of the flag will be the target for the pattern.
208.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the views. So negative views coming in on Sterlite Tech. Or what about you? Do you feel negative views?
Yes, as Fidait said, it has actually broken down, from its multiple support range. I would actually wait for a pullback towards 275 kind of a zone to actually sell the stock with a stop of about 302. My sense is this stock is headed for 200 to 210 kind of a zone on the downside.
Okay, so similar targets that are coming in. What about you, Dyaneshwar? Would it be a consensus sell?
If you look at the higher time frame charts, mainly on weekly, so after a massive fall, the stock was unfolded into the corrective pattern, and the renewed weakness is clearly observed on the charts. I would go short below 239 because that would be an multiple support area. If bears manage to take out the 239 level, so then only we may see the further escalation towards the southern trajectory. That would be at 210, 200 level.
Okay, so it's a consensus sell call that's coming in on Sterlite Tech. Again, we continue with the sell calls, and this time it's a sell call on Cadila Healthcare. So Amit, let's pull it up. I'll just tell you that of late there has been a slew of negative news that are coming in on Cadila, especially the competition that has come in on Lialda, which is their key drug, 20% of their revenues. Again, a couple of the other products, the Tamiflu season was extremely weak. So all negative news, at least on the fundamental sides, are coming in. Is that also flowing into the technicals?
Sure. So as I spoke earlier, we had a long on Pfizer and a short sell on Cadila. So as I earlier said, that the sector is actually quite a mixed bag, and there are stocks completely divergent moves coming in. So we have Cadila. It's been trading weak for quite some time now. If you see the entire move from there, it's been continuously trading on a downtrend. It's been trading below its many key moving averages. The trend is weak now. This multiple support zones, tight consolidation here, again the continuation of downtrend. All this points towards anyway it's a weaker stock, and now the multiple support area also breaking down on the downside suggests that there's fresh downside. Of course, it has moved already $10 lower, but we recommend selling this on a pullback. On a pullback towards this what's that zone, 335 to 340 zone on the upside. Once you see a pullback, you should actually short sell the stock. The stop loss is 350 and we see the stock heading towards 300 and even 285 on the lower side.
Okay, so that's a consensus downside, that's considerable downside that's coming in. Thank you so much for that, Amit. Dyaneshwar, would you short Cadila at this level?
Yeah, after the multiple support has been broken down at the level of 330, so stock has managed to take out the 315 level. So I would wait for the pullback towards the 330, and then only I will go short at 330 by keeping a stop loss of 350 for an initial leg of down move towards the 300 and 294.
Okay, what about you, NS, Cadila?
Yes, I would go short. It's a clear-cut head and shoulder breakdown around 340ish, 330ish, and since then, today also we have seen a follow-up on this stock. So probably it can do a dip to 270ish. So that would be the final target around 270.
Okay, so it's a consensus sell call that's coming in on Cadila, pretty much trading at the day's low after starting pretty strong at this point of time. And lastly, Dyaneshwar has a bearish call on Piramal Enterprises. Remember, we can have the chart, Dyaneshwar. Counter not doing well, the NBFC space is not doing well. It's trading pretty much, it did see a big sell-off in the morning, managed to recover, but nevertheless, what's the strategy that you are?
Yeah, Darshan, if you look at the overall pharma sector, so we have seen that from the 2015 to till now, the pharma sector is moving in a lower top, lower bottom formation, and once the momentum start, price tends to remain in a motion more or less in the same direction. So it is moving in a downward channel. Recently, in that space, we have find out the Piramal Enterprises, Piramal Enterprises has given the intermediate trend line breakdown, and simultaneously after the massive fall towards the southern trajectory, it has taken a Fibonacci retracement of 38.2% and giving back to the lower side. And simultaneously, if you look at the overall chart structure of RSI, so it has also given a breakdown, which eventually add the pressure towards the counter. So I am going short at the PL by keeping a stop loss of 2300 for an initial leg of down move towards the 1700.
Towards 1700, you believe, and how soon can the 1700?
Yeah, it will take more than a month because it is a positional call.
Okay, so that's the view that's coming in. Can you also explain the two percentages that you've highlighted, the green and the red line?
Yeah, this is the Fibonacci retracement has been taken from the lowest point that has been low made by the PL and the highest point. So we come to the 38.2% retracement where the stock has taken a clear resistance. Stock bulls is not managed to take out this level.
Okay.
And again, it has given the lower formation and renewed weakness is clearly observed on the charts.
Okay, so it's a negative call coming in. Thank you so much for that, NS. Would you short Piramal 2050?
I would go short right now also and maybe use every rise as a sell. Any rise to 2200 would be a good opportunity, but right now also you can go short because today it has given a very good follow-up. It can go all the way up to 1800 at least to make a double bottom.
Okay, what about you?
Yeah, see, actually the stock was trading sideways between on the lower end towards 2250 and on the upside towards 2400 kind of level. So it had been in this range. Probably this was before the results, and it had actually broken down from this range, and we'd seen sharp downside. I would not short at these levels because that particular pattern target has already been achieved in the short term. I would wait for a pullback towards 2150, 2135 kind of levels to actually go short. Yes, the trend is weak, but we'll wait for a pullback to short sell.
Okay, so that's the negative view that's coming in on Piramal Enterprises. And before we wrap the show, Yash Upadhyay again joins us, this time with a chart on Biocon. Yash, is it a positive chart or a negative chart?
Well, we're waiting for a proper confirmation to come in, and we're using the ever so reliable and your very favorite indicator, which is the trender indicator. The green line over here, that is the trender line. That is at the mark of 647.5. The stock is trading at 651. Should it manage to close below that mark in today's day of trade, the trender line will flip its color from green to red. And we've seen the trender being very efficient every time the short trade has kicked in. So watch out for Biocon. The key level to watch out is 647.5.
Okay, and what's the past trend of this indicator on Biocon?
So Darshan, 4 out of the last 5 times when the indicator has turned negative, the stock has managed to fall all the way down by about 5.5% over the next 1 month.
Okay, so that's the view that's coming in. 650 on Biocon and 647 is something that you need to watch out for on a closing basis. Thank you so much for that, Yash. Would you? It's a trender indicating, which and Bloomberg is saying that if it closes below 647, then only shorted. But what are your charts?
Absolutely, it is like a bit weak right now, and even if it if it closes below 637, what he is saying is absolutely perfect. Yeah, 647, I think it will go below that. So it can come all the way down to 620-25 area, where there is some strong support, and there is another strong support at 610, which is 200 DEMA. So there is a good risk reward ratio here.
Should they short at this level?
They can go short at this level, and they can keep a stop loss of yesterday's high. That is 655.
Okay, what about you, Amit?
I would avoid a short on this one. See, the stock has been moving very sideways for quite some time now, and it's frankly completely directionless. Only above once it crosses above 685, that is where it has formed its recent double top kind of a formation. So only a move above 685 would continue the trend on the upside, but right now the trend is very sideways. I would tend to avoid such stocks.
Okay, Dyaneshwar, what's your view?
Yeah, I agree with Yash because first line of defense is placed near about 641 for the BS. if BS managed to take out 641, so we may see the further escalation towards the 600 level.
Okay, so that's an extremely negative view that's coming in on Biocon. As far as the Bloomberg indicator is concerned, watch out for 647 on a closing basis that could come in. So it's a negative view that's coming in on Biocon. And before we wrap the show, we'll ask our guest tomorrow's expiry. What's the view on the Nifty or the Bank Nifty? I'll leave it open to them. Enes, last time you had said that 11,000 won't come in. I think that proved right. Yeah, it didn't come. For tomorrow's trade, for tomorrow, if someone wants to just take a one-day trade, can be options, can be futures, it can be any index.
Well, I would like to stay away from right now.
Okay,
it has done whatever it was supposed to do. So there wouldn't be much action, I believe. So seriously, people would lose money doing anything over there.
Okay, what about you, Amit?
Yeah, so see the trend, we are broadly trading between 10,500 and 11,000. We also made it, as you said, we also made a double top near 10,985. We are actually now moving towards the lower end of the range. Yesterday, markets did bounce back from its important 61.8% retracement zone. My sense is some sort of pullback is possible towards 10,800 kind of levels. But the trend is, I think we are likely maybe we test 10,500 eventually. For the Bank Nifty too, we have a target of 26,000 on the downside.
Okay, Dyaneshwar?
Yeah, if you look at the recent chart structure of Nifty, so it was unfolded into the corrective pattern, and all the pattern is overlapping, so it is not a clearly impulsive move, and we are taking a resistance of 50% Fibonacci retracement of the previous fall from the 11,700 to 10,000 level, and recently the intermediate trend line has been broken down by the bears. It has taking the resistance of that trend line. You can go short right now, keep a stop loss of 10,700. You may see the further escalation towards the 10,500, 450.
Okay, so that's the view that's coming in on the Nifty at this point of time. But with that, it's a wrap on today's edition of Hot Money. Thank you to Enes, Amit, Dyaneshwar. Thank you so much for coming in and helping our viewers. Our PQ comes up next. Stay tuned to Bloomberg Quint.